Hello and good morning students. Good to see you in this 5th revision lecture. Our lecture is going to be a continuation of the previous topic that we initiated in the 4th lecture, Subject-Verb Agreement. In the last lecture we learned the basics about what is a Subject-Verb Agreement. Well, when a subject is having a singular noun, the verb must be singular, and when the subject has a plural noun, the verb must be plural. This was the basic thing that we understood in the previous lecture. In today's lecture we are going to continue our understanding about this topic, where we will be learning about the proximity of subject and verb, that is nearness to the space, time and relationship in a sentence. We had a similar topic in our textbook also, errors of proximity. So we will discuss about this as a part of our revision. Also, we will look into the uses of the verb or the subject-verb agreement, how they are used with differences to the objects or differences to the noun, how they are utilized. Also, we will look into some important exercises that we need to do. So let's get started. As you see on your screen being displayed, the topic about proximity of subjects and verbs. They should be placed as close as possible in a sentence. Yes, that's the first thing that you need to keep in mind. Try to keep the verb as close to its subject or the noun that you are referring to. Since there is always an agreement between the subject and the verb. In the example sentence you can see, she loves reading stories, where you will find she is the subject, a singular third person pronoun, and followed by that the verb has been placed very close to it, that is loves reading stories, where the word loves is soon after the subject. In the above sentence the subject is placed immediately before the verb. Yes, isn't it? You can see it's placed immediately after the verb because it is referring to that subject. She loves reading stories, where the word loves, which is used in the singular form, is put exactly after, or it's put soon after the subject. But in some sentences, the subject may not be placed next to the verb. It is not possible always to keep the verb immediately after the subject. It is not possible to keep it in this manner, as you will see over here. When a group of words acts as a subject, when the entire group of words is acting as a subject, the main word is actually the subject. Sometimes you may find a group of words which is a subject and not just one word, as you saw in this sentence. In the previous sentence, what did you observe? That she was just one word which was formulating or making up the subject. But as you find in this following sentence, the long fairy tales that she narrated were interesting. So in this example, you will find that the whole set of words, the long fairy tales, is the subject and not just one word, the fairy tales. So what happens over here? Therefore, the main verb should agree with this word and not with anything else in the phrase or in the sentence. As in this sentence you see, the long fairy tales that she narrated were interesting. The verb were is not placed immediately after the word fairy tales, because here the whole set of words is acting as a subject, and in which the word fairy tales is the main word. So the verb were, which is a plural verb and getting in agreement with the word fairy tales, is being positioned or kept away from it. So in this manner, sometimes it is not always possible to keep the verb immediately after the subject word or the immediate word which is a subject. Here fairy tales is the subject, it is in the third person plural, so the verb were is taken. The verb is in agreement with the subject, but it is not positioned or is in proximity as to say immediately after the subject. It is placed somewhere away from the subject. Another example, the broken chairs kept outside were retired. In this sentence too, you will find the words the broken chairs as a set of words acting as a subject. But the main word over here is chairs, which is a noun as a subject, for which the verb were has been used but positioned away from the main word, that is chair. It is not placed immediately after the word chairs. Well, moving ahead, you can see on your screen, when a sentence begins with the word there, the noun placed after the verb is the actual subject of the sentence. As you see in this sentence, example sentence, there is a parrot in the cage. Here the verb is and the subject is a parrot. So what did you observe over here? When a subject begins with the word there, the noun placed after the verb is the actual subject in the sentence. So here the subject was after the verb and not before the verb. The actual subject in this sentence is parrot, and the word there is the preparatory or introductory subject. So we refer this word there as an introductory or a preparatory subject. Well, the subject a parrot is singular, and therefore it takes a singular verb, which is the word is. So I hope this is useful to you. There are plants in the balcony. The subject is plants and takes the verb are. In this sentence too, you will find there as a preparatory subject, where you will find the word plants as a main subject, but the verb is placed before the subject. Well, you are learning about the proximity of the subject and verbs. This is yet another important thing to remember and keep in mind, that it is sometimes that the verb is before the subject word and many a times it is after the subject word. So three things we have understood by now: the positioning of a verb soon after the subject word, or sometimes away from the subject verb, and the third thing is before the subject word. Let us now look into some uses of the subject-verb agreement, how they are used, how is a verb used in the following situations. As you see on your screen being displayed, nouns denoting food, clothing, furniture and stationery are singular and take a singular verb. For example, the furniture is polished. Well, we never say furnitures, we always refer the word furniture in the singular entity, and therefore we say the furniture is polished, and you will never say the furniture are polished. No matter you are referring to more than one pieces or objects of furniture in your house, it could be a cupboard, a table, a chair or whatever it is. But even if you are referring or considering a number of pieces of furniture, well, pieces of furniture is okay, but we cannot say furnitures, we always say pieces, which is a plural word. Therefore, nouns denoting to food, clothing, furniture and stationery are singular, and therefore they take up a singular verb at all times. Hence, the example sentence, the furniture is polished, needs to be written in accordance with a subject-verb agreement. The next thing is, when the phrases a lot of or plenty of is used to indicate the quantity, it takes a singular verb. When we make use of the phrases a lot of or the phrase plenty of in a sentence, then we happen to use a singular verb and not a plural verb in accordance to the agreement of its subject. As you see in these two examples, a lot of coffee has been added to the milk. Now in this sentence, you will observe a lot of coffee has been added, you will not written have been added, because a lot of coffee, where the word coffee is an uncountable noun. We are referring to some quantity and not to something that can be counted or a number. Therefore, has been added is used, means the word has been used over here and not have, a singular verb. Similarly, with the phrase plenty of. Plenty of sugar is kept in the jar. Well, sugar is an uncountable entity. So, when you use phrases like plenty of, a lot of, with uncountable nouns which cannot be counted, we make use of a singular verb and not a plural verb. But we have an exception to this rule. But when a lot of and plenty of are used for number, something that is countable, both take a plural verb. For example, we say a lot of boys are visiting the museum. Here, the noun has changed from sugar or coffee to the word boys, where boys is a countable entity. Therefore, a lot of boys are visiting and not is visiting. This time, the word is has changed to, or is has changed to are. We are using a plural verb and not a singular verb because the word boys is a countable entity and not an uncountable entity. Similarly, we have used the phrase plenty of with the word friends. Plenty of friends are coming for my party, or you may say plenty of friends have come to my party. So in both these sentences that I just said, we have used a plural verb and not a singular because the noun is a countable noun, it's a countable entity. Well, so this should be now clear to you. Moving ahead, the word news is always regarded as a singular subject and takes a singular verb. No matter what you are trying to express or what you are trying to give, you are always using a singular verb whenever making use of the word news in a sentence. So the word news is always regarded as a singular entity and therefore it takes a singular verb. As you see in this sentence, this is a breaking news. We don't say this are a breaking news or these are breaking newses. No, we do not say that. News always used and utilized as a singular entity in all respects. Next one of. Yet another phrase, one of. When you make use of the phrase one of in a sentence, is always considered as a singular subject and therefore takes a singular verb. Examples: one of the girls is known to me. You know one of the many girls that you know. So one of the girls is known to me, and you don't say one of the girls are known to me. No matter, you written the word girls over there, which is a plural entity. But along with that plural word girls, we have prefixed the words one of. We have added the words in the beginning one of, which means one out of the many girls. Therefore, one of the girls is known to me would carry a singular verb and not a plural one. One of the books is torn. We mean to say one out of the many books that you have. So one of the books is torn will use a singular verb and not a plural verb. Moving ahead, the next one. If there are two subjects in a sentence, when you have two subjects, the verb will be plural. When you're talking about two individual subjects, we must make use of a plural verb. As you see in this example, Aditya and Vikram are preparing for their exams. Here there are two subjects. If you separate them into two different sentences, you will find two subjects. Aditya is preparing for his exams. Vikram is preparing for his exams. Now, because the two sentences have been combined, here the two nouns have been combined. That is Aditya and Vikram. Therefore, it becomes a plural subject. Hence, when two subjects are there in a sentence, it will use a plural verb as it is used in this one. Aditya and Vikram are preparing and not is preparing. Moving ahead, if the two subjects are regarded as one, this is the exception to the first rule what we have just read out. If the two subjects are regarded as one, the verb will be singular this time. Now, the noun or the subject that you are talking about is just one entity when you mean to say something that is the same. As you see in this example, bread and butter is ideal for breakfast. Bread and butter is ideal for breakfast. So in this sentence, you don't mean to say you are having bread and butter separately. You mean to say the butter applied on a bread as a dish. So bread and butter is ideal for a breakfast. Here we have not separated the two things. We are considering bread and butter as one single entity as a matter of sandwich. Needle and thread is always kept handy by mother. We don't mean to say needle separately and thread separately. She keeps the needle separately somewhere and needle separately, thread separately somewhere. We mean to say in this sentence that needle and thread is always kept handy. So here we have not used the plural verb in order to agree with the subject, but we have simply used the singular verb in both these sentences, which is the word is. Is. Bread and butter is. Needle and thread is. We have not used the plural verb are. The next one. If the subject and the verb are separated by a group of words, the verb must agree with the subject, as you see in these example sentences. The man, comma, in a blue suit, comma, is my father's friend. Here you will observe that the words the man has been separated with a comma followed by the words in a blue suit, and again you have a comma followed by the predicate part is my father's friend. So the verb is getting agreed with the subject the man. That is the rule that we have observed, that if the subject and the verb are separated by a group of words, the verb must agree with the subject. In the next sentence you see, this waterfall with gushing water is visible from far away. In this sentence too, you will find the words this water getting separated with a comma, with the next set of words with gushing water again have a comma, and then followed by the words is visible from far away, where you find the word is the singular verb being agreed with the words this waterfall, which is the subject in the sentence. The next one, when the name of a country, a book or a film is denoted in a plural noun, it is used with a singular verb. For example, as you see, the United States of America. We are not saying the United States of America. We are saying States of America, which is a plural word. So, the United States of America has progressed well, and we are not saying have progressed well. Irrespective of the word United States having the word states, which is a plural, as we just read, when the name of a country, a book or a film denoted in a plural noun, even though there is a plurality inside it, still we are agreeing a singular subject with it, because the whole thing is singular. The United Kingdom, we don't mean to say United Kingdom is just one state or one place. It is something that is made up of small places together, small kingdoms together. The United Kingdom has launched a new missile in space. So we have used over here the word has, which is a singular verb and not a plural one. So this was the rule about when a name of a country, book or film is denoted in a plural, it uses or it is used with a singular verb. The next one, as you see on your screen, the word people, police and cattle are considered as plurals always. You don't consider these words to be singular at any given point of time. People is always taken up as a plural entity. Similarly, police, and we don't say polices, but police. Police itself is a plural word. It is considered plural, and the word cattle are considered as plural, and they take a plural verb. As an example, the cattle were taken to the meadows, and we don't say the cattle is taken to the meadows. We consider the word cattle as a plural entity all the given point of time, as we learned in our section 2. For the word cattle, whose cattle are these? That was the first thing that we learned in the section. People are taking out a procession in support of their leader. So here too, in this sentence, we are saying people are taking out and not is taking out, because people is considered as a plural subject. When a plural number is used for distance, when we use a plural number with association or in association with things like distance, weight and amounts of money as a single figure or quantity, it is considered singular, and therefore it takes a singular verb, as you see in the examples displayed on your screen. 3 years is a long time, and we don't say 3 years are a long time. No matter, the word 3 is plural, the word years is showing a plurality inside it. Despite of that, we say 3 years is a long time. Here, the number 3 has been associated with the word years, and therefore we make use of the singular verb and not a plural verb by saying these years, 3 years are a long time. We just say 3 years is a long time. Another example, 5 years was a brief period of ups and downs for her. So 5 years, denoting the time duration over here. 5 years, will use a singular verb and not a plural verb and say 5 years word. It would be incorrect to use this. Similarly, when you talk about distance or weight, we will have to use a singular entity. We learned similar sentences in our text too by saying 10 miles is a long distance to cover by foot. So I am saying 10 miles is a long distance and not our long distance. Moving ahead, whenever we use the phrase a pair of, we use a singular verb. A pair of scissors is kept here, a pair of socks is lying here. So the phrase a pair of refers to something that is singular. No matter there are two pieces or two things inside, but here we have made use of the phrase a pair of, considering both the things as one entity. Therefore, when we use a pair of in a sentence to show something or show a pair of something, we make use of a singular verb and say a pair of scissors is kept here and not a pair of scissors are kept here. Similarly, we say a pair of socks is lying here and not a pair of socks are lying there. So this was about some uses of the nouns that we have learnt so far. Now let's learn some more about the subject-verb agreement. A singular verb is used when any one of the following is the subject of a sentence, as you see on your screen. Anyone, another, anybody, each, either, every, everybody, everything, neither, nobody, none, somebody, something and someone. So these are a few words. If this is the subject in a sentence, then we have to apply the following rule. Either of the two girls is accompanying you. What have we used over here? We have used a singular verb. That is what we learned from this rule. That if you use any of these words as a subject in a sentence, we use the singular verb in order to agree with its subject. That is the one that you see in the group over here. Either of the two girls is accompanying you. What does that either mean over here? Either means any one of the two, not both of them. So either indicates a singularity over here, and therefore a singular verb needs to agree with the subject either. Similarly, neither of the two men is a carpenter. Once again we use the word neither, showing a singularity. We are not saying both the carpenters. We are talking about neither, none of them, not even one. Neither of the two men is a carpenter. So out of the two men we are saying no one is a carpenter. Therefore it shows a singularity in itself. Two more examples. Everybody is waiting to hear from you. Everybody, each one. We are talking about each one sitting over there or waiting over there who wants to hear from the person. So everybody indicates a singularity, hence a singular verb must agree with the subject. None of his sons is working here. None again indicates a singularity, hence a singular subject needs to be applied in order to agree with the subject accordingly. Further, when either or and neither nor, I repeat, when either or and neither nor are used in a sentence with singular nouns or pronouns, they take singular verbs. Examples, neither Rita nor Suman is attending the seminar. Here we are trying to say none of the two, and we are talking about each one of them. So neither Rita nor Suman is attending the seminar, and we will not be writing over here are attending. No matter, we are taking two names over here, Rita and Suman, but we have used the word neither, which indicates singularity with the singular noun over here. Similarly, the next example, either my father or my mother. Are we saying both of them? No, we are not saying both of them. We are saying either, any one of them. So either my father or my mother is arranging for my. So what happened over here? The words either or and neither nor in a sentence have used a singular noun, and hence they will take a singular verb. Let us see in the next part of the understanding. When neither nor and either or are used with plural nouns or pronouns, they go with plural verbs. So we have to be very careful when we get a sentence or when we have to read or write something with regards to neither nor and either or. Let us see the examples. Neither the girls nor the boys. So see, we have used the word girls and boys as plural entities over here, plural nouns. So neither the girls nor the boys have submitted their answer sheets. So you see, we have used a singular verb with a singular noun inside it with the phrase either or, neither nor, and similarly when the nouns were referring to something plural, we have used a plural verb in accordance with its subject. The next example, either the chairs or the tables are kept downstairs, and we have not written is kept downstairs. So I hope this rule is now clear to you. Let us see one more rule, which is perhaps the last rule to understand, as you see on your screen. When we use the phrase as well as, yes, as well as, and the word with or along with, when we make use of these three things, are used to join two nouns in a sentence, the verb agrees with the noun mentioned first. So here it is an important rule that you need to keep in mind. When as well as, with, and along with are used in the sentence and are used to join two nouns in a sentence, the verb agrees with the noun mentioned first. So the first noun that comes along with these words needs to be taken consideration with, and accordingly we will be applying the verb over there. As you see in the example, the teachers along with the principal are discussing the board results. So what did you find over here? The teachers along with. So we have used the phrase along with in order to join two nouns over there, and the two nouns are teachers and principal. But what have we considered over here? We have taken teachers, which is plural, into consideration, and to agree with the word teachers, we have accordingly taken the verb are and not is, which is a plural verb. Therefore, the teachers along with the principal are discussing the board result is the way we write it, and not is discussing. Similarly, if we have changed this sentence and written the teacher along with the principal is discussing, here we are taking teacher as a singular entity, which is the first noun getting connected with the second noun. So the rule as well as, with, and along with will use the verb in accordance with the first noun that is getting connected with the second noun. So we will have a variation over here while selecting the singular verb or the plural verb. In the above sentence, the teachers is the subject mentioned first. It is the plural form, and in the third person, so the verb ARER is used, which agrees with the subject. This is what we just understood. Let us take one more example. My sister, with all the cousins, is going to celebrate New Year's Eve at the club. So you carefully see, my sister, with is the word, which is the joining word over here. All the cousins. Now cousins is plural over here. Despite of that, we are not taking into consideration the word cousins because the two nouns, sister and cousins, of which the first is singular and the second is plural, has been now connected with the word with. So in such a rule, we consider the first one and not the second one. Therefore, we have used a singular verb which agrees with the word sister, which is actually singular, and we are not considering the second noun, that is cousins. Here, my sister is the first subject. It is singular in the third person. So the verb plans agrees with the subject, my sister. So I hope this rule is now clear to you. Let us now take up a short exercise regarding these rules and understand it better. Fill in the blanks with appropriate forms of verbs given in the brackets. That is going to be the first exercise. We are practicing the rules that we just learned. First sentence. The fragrance of these roses dash refreshing. And the word given to us in the bracket is just the word be. Be is a verb, isn't it? So the fragrance of these roses dash refreshing. We need to use one of the members of the bee family and insert it over here. But try to recall the rule that we learned, all the rules that we learned, which rule fits over here, and try to analyze the sentence even before you write the answer. The fragrance of these roses. Are we talking about roses as the subject? No. Roses is not our subject. Our subject is the word fragrance that is vested inside the roses. So, fragrance becomes a key important word in this set of words which is the subject. Therefore, taking fragrance into consideration, we will be using a singular verb and not a plural verb. The fragrance of these roses is refreshing and not are refreshing. Just looking into the word roses, do not make a selection or make a choice. So, think of the word fragrance. The fragrance is refreshing, therefore, we will be writing the answer is and not are. Similarly, if you wanted to write the plural over there, then you would be required to write the roses are refreshing. Then it would have been correct. But here, the fragrance of these roses is refreshing. Another thing, the fragrance of these roses was refreshing in case you want to talk about the past. But still, even in this was, the word is singular and not plural. Let's move ahead to the next one. The name of a movie, The Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings, in which you will find the word rings as a plural. So do not get misguided with this. Think of the appropriate verb that you need to insert in the blank. The Lord of the Rings dash interesting. And once again we have the word bee. So we have to make a choice of one of the members of the bee family. The Lord of the Rings. Think about is or are. The Lord of the Rings, just because it has an S inside it, it's plural, it does not become plural over here. We are talking about the name of a movie. So name of a movie is Lord of the Ring. The whole set of words is the subject. Where we are talking about just one entity, something that is singular, just one single name of a movie. So just it has the S inside it, it does not make it plural. It's a part of the whole name. Therefore, it's a singular thing, a singular noun, singular subject. Therefore, we are using a singular verb. The Lord of the Rings is interesting. And if you want to write in the past, you will write the Lord of the Rings was interesting. Third one. My father and mother dash very encouraging. Once again we have the word BEB applied to it. We'll be choosing an appropriate word over here, appropriate verb, singular or plural, whatever is referring. So have a careful look. My father and mother. Yet another rule. We saw two rules over here. There were two different rules. while we use the singular. Now let us see what rule is over here. My father and mother. We're talking about two individual people. So when talking about two people connected by the conjunction over here, we mean it is a plural entity and not a singular entity. If you try to separate the sentence and read it, my father is very encouraging, my mother is very encouraging. Now when you combine these two, you will definitely land up with this kind of a sentence, my father and mother. Therefore you will be writing a plural verb because you mean something plural over here and not singular. Therefore we will be writing are very encouraging. Let's move ahead to the next one. A lot of milk dash kept in the pan. A lot of milk dash kept in the pan. Let me put up the fifth one because we need to make a comparison over here. So I will put up the fifth one and then we will be discussing both the answers together. A lot of guests dash wishing my father on his 50th birthday. So you see in this two sentence, the word used over here is a lot of. The phrase a lot of has been used and we've been given the same verb in the brackets. That is one of the members of the B family will be selecting in order to fill up the blanks. But we have to remember, we have to recall the rule that we learned so far. A lot of has been used in the fourth sentence, the phrase, and the phrase a lot of has been used with in the fifth sentence. But there is a difference in these two sentences. A lot of has been used with the word milk, which is an uncountable noun. But in the fifth sentence, a lot of the phrase has been used with the word guests, which is actually a countable noun. Therefore, we will have a difference in the writing of the verbs over here. We will be using a singular verb. A lot of milk is kept in the pan because the word milk is an uncountable noun, and along with that we have used the phrase a lot of. Therefore, we will utilize or make use of a singular noun over here, one of the members of the B family, that is the word is. A lot of guests, guests is a countable noun. So, a lot of guests are wishing and not is wishing. So, that was the purpose of writing the fourth and fifth together, so that we can compare with the two and can easily learn something out of it. The next one, a phrase, a pair of scissors. Let us write it out. A pair of scissors. A pair of scissors dash bought by me yesterday. Now be very careful with this sentence. Read the sentence very carefully. You will definitely observe something different from the other sentences. A pair of scissors dash. Again we are using the word a pair of scissors. We learned about the word scissors. The scissors is having an entity, or it is an entity having two parts, isn't it? Scissors is something made up of two parts. Similarly, trousers, we can talk about binoculars, isn't it? They are all made up of two parts and they always carry an S with them and they are considered as plurals. A pair of, when you apply the phrase a pair of, we tend to use or we try to say something that is singular. So, a pair of scissors dash bought by me. But here we have something about the time factor, that is yesterday. So, when it is mentioned yesterday, we will not be able to use the member of the B family in the present tense. We will have to use it in the past tense compulsorily. A pair of scissors was bought by me yesterday. Therefore, the suitable verb over here is was in the past tense, but remember it is singular, not plural. So let us write it down. Why are we using singular? Because we are saying a pair of. Instead of yesterday, if today was given, then we would have used over here the word is. A pair of scissors is bought by me now, today, or something like that. So according to this, we will be using the verb is or was depending upon the sentence given to us. And remember to put the singular and not the plural. Moving ahead to the next one, number 7. The cleanliness in charge dash inspecting the classrooms. And once again we have the word be to be utilized over here. The cleanliness in charge dash inspecting the classroom. Think about is, are, am, whatever is suitable over here. One of the members of the be family with respect to the rules that we have learned. The cleanliness in charge. We are talking about a person over here. It's a singular person. The cleanliness in charge. Someone who is in charge of that. It's a singular entity. He or she is inspecting the room. So the cleanliness in charge is inspecting the room and not are inspecting the rooms. Just because we have the word rooms, do not get misguided and write are over here. So we are talking about the person, not the classrooms. So classrooms is an object but in the predicate part and not in the subject part. So the cleanliness in charge is the person, is a singular entity, therefore singular verb to agree with the subject and verb and make its agreement. Is inspecting the classrooms and not are inspecting the classrooms. Let's move ahead and take one more example, one more sentence. The 8th one. A musical troupe performing at the concert yesterday. So you see in this sentence, a musical troupe dash performing at the concert yesterday, and the word is BEB once again. So most of our sentences are going to be on the basis of the word or the verb BEB, so that we get a rigorous practice about this concept. A musical troupe. So we are talking about troupe. Now what comes to your mind with the word troupe? Troupe is a collective noun, and as we learned earlier, a collective noun generally carries a singular verb. Perhaps it always carries a singular verb. Therefore, we will choose one of the members of the B family which is singular and not plural. But we have to be careful when we read the sentence. A musical troupe dash performing the concert, and once again we have been given the word yesterday. So out of the two members of the B family, is and was, we will rightfully choose was and we will not choose is, because the sentence is in the past tense. Is and was both are singular entities, but we will have to choose over here was in the place of is, because it is a past sentence. A musical troupe was performing at the concert yesterday and not is, or neither we are writing the plural verbs are or were. Let's move ahead. The next one. Number 9. My friends dash going out for dinner. Again in the bracket we have the word DEB. So one of the members of the B family will be writing my friends. So the word is friends over here, which is actually plural over here. Therefore it is very simple to understand. We will be requiring a plural verb over here. My friends are going out for dinner and not is going out. So this was a very simple one out of all the sentences we did so far. Let's move ahead and do the next one. A list of grocery items dash ready. Again we have the word DEB. So let's wisely choose the option over here out of the member of the B family. A list of grocery items. Are we saying items are ready? No, we are saying a list of grocery items. So we are referring to a list of as the subject over here, which is a singular entity. Hence, we will require a singular verb. Therefore, we will be writing the word is and not are. A list of grocery items is ready and not are ready. Although the list contains a number of items inside, the word is items, but this is not the key word or the subject that we are referring to. We are referring to a list of, which is a singular entity. The next one. One of the employees dash on leave today. And we have the word DED once again. So one of the employees. The word is employees is plural, but we are even having a set of words before it. Okay, we have applied set of words, which is a phrase over here. One of the employees. We're not saying all the employees. If the sentence was all the employees, then you would have used over here a plural verb, because we are having a plural subject. Here the subject, when we say one of the employees, refers to a singular entity, a singular subject. Hence, we will wisely choose over here a singular verb and write one of the employees is on leave today and not are on leave today. Again, why are we selecting is and why are we not selecting was? Because we have the word today. If it was yesterday, then you would have written was over here. But right now, because the sentence is demanding the present situation, we will be writing is and not was. Let us take a few more. The next one. Mathematics dash easy to me. Mathematics dash easy to me, and we have the word given in bracket is appear. Well, the understanding of all the words will be are now completed. We have just two more to learn about. Mathematics, as you see, the word itself carries an S inside it. What you learned earlier. If a word already has an S inside it, it is in the form of a plural, but it is the name of a subject, and we will be considering it as a singular noun or singular subject. Therefore, the verb that we require to put over here must be singular in order to get in accordance or agreement with its subject. So, mathematics appears easy to me. When I add S into it, it doesn't become plural, it becomes actually singular. So, let us write this down and apply an appropriate verb to agree with its subject. Mathematics appears easy to me. So, applying an S makes the verb singular. The next one, number 13. These books dash to my cousin. These books dash to my cousin, and the bracket will be given the word as belong. So think about it. These books, so we are talking about books, a plural entity, isn't it? The noun and the subject is plural over here, therefore we require plural verb over here in order to match with its subject or having the proper agreement with its verb. So these books belong to my cousin. As it is, we are going to write without making any change because the option given to us is actually in the plural form. So let's write it and make the sentence correct. These books belong to my cousin, where we have used a plural verb to agree with its plural subject. Well, these were 13 sentences in this exercise. Let us now look into yet another important exercise. So here is an exercise, a practice exercise for you to understand and practice about the subject-verb agreement rule that we learned a short while ago. So let us see what do we have to do. As the instruction says, spot the subject-verb agreement errors and fix it up. So there are some errors that have been committed in these sentences as you see on the board. So let's identify and spot out these errors and rectify it and fix it up. Neither Sonal nor Mahi are bringing a bouquet of flowers. Well, do you think it's correct? What we learned recently, we learned that if we use neither and nor, it always captures or takes up a singular verb, and the verb that you see over here is are, which is plural. So that's the error that we have spotted out. Let's rectify it and make it correct. Neither Sonal nor Mahi is bringing a bouquet of flowers. So let us eliminate this and write is to make it correct or to make the subject and verb agree with each other. Second sentence, everyone are expecting a good monsoon this year. Well, the word used is everyone, as we learned in the rule that if you write the words like anyone, no one or none, somebody, anybody, each, either, or the word neither, everything, and such words, we use a singular verb and not a plural verb. So once again we have a plural verb incorrectly used over here. Everyone is expecting and not are expecting, because everyone means each single person. Let's rectify it, strike it out and write the correct one, which is. The next sentence, number 3, Ritesh as well as his brothers are going for an adventure trip. Well, read it once more. Ritesh as well as his brothers. So plural. Well, if it is plural, then we require are over here. No, that's not right. Ritesh as well as. The words, the nouns brothers and Ritesh are two nouns connected with the words or the phrase as well as. So we learned in the rule section that when you connect two nouns with the words as well as, we make use of the verb in order to agree with the first noun in the sentence. So the first noun over here is Ritesh. So we will consider Ritesh or Ritesh being a singular noun. We will consider writing it over here as singular verb and not considering brothers and connecting it with our over there. So Ritesh as well as his brothers is going for an adventure trip. The next one. Nobody is scared of darkness in my family. Well, let me read it once more. Nobody is scared. So what did I get? Nobody is. Nobody is. So I don't need to make any change because it is correct over here. There is no error that I can find over here. Nobody is. The nobody is a word which carries a singular verb with it, as we learned with neither nor and everyone and such words. So when we make use of nobody, we need to use a singular verb which is already rightly written over here. So we are going to simply tick mark and say it is a correct sentence. So we are not making any changes. Let's move on to the next one. My friends as well as my neighbor are going to visit the nearby market. So my friends as well as my neighbor are going to visit. So it is it correct? Yes, it is correct. My friends, because we have the first noun friends which is plural joined by the connecting words for the phrase as well as with the next noun neighbor, as we understood the rule over here in Ritesh and brother, where we considered the first noun to agree with the verb given in the sentence. So my friends is a plural noun, therefore R is very appropriate to connect with the word friends, so we don't have to make change in this sentence too. Let's put a tick mark over it. Consider it as a corrected sentence. Rinku, along with his parents, are watching television. So once again, have a look. We have the word along with, just like we had the words as well as the connecting phrase. We learned three things. We learned as well as, we learned the word with, and we learned the word along with. So here, the phrase along with has been used with two nouns, Rinku and parents. So what are we going to do? We are going to use the noun which is the first noun in the sentence. Where Rinku is a singular noun, therefore it will get associated or considered with the verb over there, agree with the verb with the first noun. So if I agree the verb with the first noun, it should be a singular noun and not a plural one. Therefore I will strike out the word are and write is in its place. So in this manner we have corrected the errors and fixed up the sentences to make it correct. Well, this was all about the understanding of subject-verb agreement. I hope the exercises and the explanation helped you a lot to revise the chapter. For now, goodbye. See you soon. Take care.